My name is Eliana. I am 31 years old, and according to official records, I was dead. Not lost, not missing, legally deceased. The strange part? I was standing outside the courtroom when I learned that my own family had declared me gone forever. You see, betrayal isn't always loud. Sometimes it moves quietly, through paperwork, signatures, and cold legal language that erases a person while they're still breathing. 3 years earlier, I left home with a single suitcase and a promise to myself. I would never return. My family never approved of my independence. To them, obedience was love, and silence was respect. When I chose my own career, my own city, my own life, they didn't just feel abandoned, they felt challenged. At first, their messages were polite. Come home. We forgive you. You belong with us. Then came anger. Then silence, and finally, nothing at all. I thought they had moved on. I was wrong. It began with a call from a lawyer I had never met. He asked a simple question. Are you aware that you are legally declared missing and presumed dead? At first, I laughed. I thought it was a scam. Then he sent me the documents. My family had filed a legal death claim. They presented evidence that I had vanished without contact. They told the court they had searched, waited, suffered, and after the required period, they requested control of my inheritance. My inheritance? My grandmother's estate, the only person in my life who had ever believed in me without conditions. She had left everything in my name. But there was one clause. If I were deceased, the assets would transfer to my parents. Suddenly, their silence made sense. They hadn't lost a daughter, they had erased an obstacle. I spent nights staring at those documents. Every signature felt like a betrayal carved in ink. Every statement described a life that wasn't mine. According to them, I had disappeared emotionally, mentally, physically. They didn't just claim I was missing, they described me as someone who had abandoned existence itself. And the court believed them because I never responded, because I never returned, because I trusted that distance meant safety. But legal systems don't measure truth by love. They measure it by evidence, and evidence can be arranged. The hearing to finalize property transfer was scheduled for the following month. They were about to receive everything: the house, the land, the investments, a lifetime's worth of security in exchange for my identity. So I made a decision. I wouldn't call them. I wouldn't warn them. I would let them finish their story. And then I would walk into it. The day of the hearing, I stood outside the courthouse, watching my family arrive. They looked composed, dignified, grieving. My mother wore black. My father carried documents carefully arranged in a leather folder. They looked like people who had suffered a tragic loss, but their steps were light, confident, certain. Inside the courtroom, the atmosphere was procedural, almost routine. Another legal confirmation, another file to close. The judge reviewed documents, testimonies were read, statements of sorrow filled the room. They spoke about me as if I were a memory. She left and never returned. We searched everywhere. We only want closure. Closure, such a gentle word for something so permanent. Then the judge asked the final question. Is there any evidence that the missing individual is alive? My father answered calmly. No, Your Honor. That was my cue. The doors opened. Every sound in the room seemed to pause. Papers mid-turn, breaths mid-inhale, words unfinished. I walked forward, alive, not dramatic, not angry, just present. For a moment, no one moved. Recognition spread slowly when truth contradicts expectation. My mother's face drained of color. My father's grip tightened around the folder. The lawyer who contacted me simply nodded, as if reality had finally arrived on schedule. I spoke clearly. My name is Eliana. I am not missing, I am not deceased, and I have never relinquished my inheritance. Silence filled the space where their narrative had lived. Legal systems rely on certainty, and nothing destroys false certainty faster than undeniable existence. The judge examined my identification, heard my statement, reviewed communication records showing my continued activity, employment, residence. Facts replaced fiction. Within minutes, the court declared the death claim invalid. The inheritance remained mine. But the legal outcome wasn't the most powerful moment. It was the realization that greed had pushed my family to rewrite reality itself. They didn't just want my inheritance, they wanted a version of the world where I no longer existed. After the hearing, they approached me. No apology, no explanation, only shock, and something colder than regret. Loss. Not of a daughter, of an opportunity. I didn't argue, I didn't accuse. Some betrayals don't require confrontation, they expose themselves. As I walked out of the courthouse, the air felt different, heavier, but clearer. I understood something I hadn't before. Family is not defined by blood, it is defined by recognition, and the people who tried to erase me had already removed themselves from my life long before the law corrected the record. Today, I am legally alive, financially secure, emotionally free. But the most valuable inheritance I received wasn't property, it was clarity. Some people fear being forgotten. I learned something far stranger. Sometimes the people closest to you try to remember a version of reality where you never mattered at all. But truth has a way of entering rooms uninvited, and when it does, no document can silence a living voice. I am Eliana. I was declared missing. I was declared dead. But the story they wrote about me ended the moment I walked in court.